Lesson 2-1, integers and absolute value. So when you look at a typical number line, the tick marks represent integers. So integers are numbers that have no decimals or fractions with them. 0 is kind of the midway on your typical number line. Okay, so when you look at your 0, anything to the right would be a positive number, and anything to the left would be a negative number. So when we're talking integers, though, it's any of those, including 0. Notice here that 0 is not positive or negative. You never refer to it as positive 0 or negative 0. 0 is just 0. Integers, no decimals or fractions with this. So that's actually a good thing, I guess, if you're not a fan of fractions. So any of those numbers you see would be considered integers. Here's the set of integers. Notice how in this set notation here, there's a dot, dot, dot in front. Does anybody know what that means? Yes. There's more numbers before it. In fact, it's coming from negative infinity. That's the infinity symbol. And it goes dot, dot, dot over here. That means that it's going to positive infinity. It goes on forever and ever in both directions. So that's the set of integers. All right. Integers, when you think of them, things that mean a gain or something like that would be in the positive direction. Any kind of thing with a loss or below would be a negative direction. So you might be asked to write the integer for a certain situation. So what integer do you think would represent 32 feet underground, Dakota? Negative 32. That would be negative 32. What about 8 weeks after birth, Layla? 8. You don't have to write the plus sign in front of a positive. It's understood to be there. So that is a positive or 8 or just 8. What about a loss of 15 yards, Haley?
Negative 15.
Negative 15. All right. Now, it says in the next example to write 2. Make sure you get that. Write 2 inequalities using less than and greater than. So here's what they mean by that. 7 and negative 4. I would go ahead and do my less than one first. So I have to think out of 7 and negative 4. Negative 4 is smaller. So my first inequality would be negative 4 is less than 7. That's one inequality. Now I'm going to switch it around and do the greater one. The greater one would be 7 is greater than negative 4. So that's writing 2 inequalities. So who would like to do this one? The two numbers, the two integers, negative 3 and negative 8. Stephen?
Negative 3 is less than negative 8.
Okay, look.
No. Negative 3 is greater than.
Okay, let's do it that way then. Negative 3 is greater than negative 8, so what would the other one be then?
Negative 8 is less than negative 3.
Yes, negative 8 is less than negative 3. That's the thing with the negative side. The numbers that look bigger are really smaller. It goes in the opposite direction, so sometimes that can be kind of tricky. But he recovered and caught himself and did well. All right, any questions on any of those? Next, we're going to look at absolute value. So let me pull that down here if I can get it. Maybe. Oh, you know how it goes. Okay. Absolute value. Let's talk about what absolute value really is. A lot of kids think absolute value is the opposite sign, and that is very much not true. absolute value is the distance from 0 on a number line. The distance from 0 on a number line. Absolute value just means what is that number? Don't pay attention to whether it's positive or negative. We don't even care. We want to know what is the number. Notice right here that on this small section of a number line, how positive 3 is 3 units from 0, and negative 3 is 3 units from 0, so that negative absolute value, which are these bars, absolute value of negative 3 and absolute value of 3 mean the same exact thing. They're both equal to 3 because they're both 3 units from 0. So you're going to be asked to evaluate some of these things. What you should do is always evaluate inside the absolute value symbol first, pull it out, and then do whatever else might be with it. So to evaluate, what would be the absolute value of 12? Somebody that hadn't gotten a ticket yet. Sienna. 12. Absolute value of negative 20. Logan. 20. Okay, be careful. Negative absolute value of 6. Braxton. You are so right. Negative 6. It's saying give me the negative of it. It's forcing you to put the negative on that one. Very good. Okay, another evaluate. Right here. Absolute value of x plus 8. If x is negative 2. So here's what they want you to do. Absolute value of negative 2 plus 8. So Trayton, what would I do with that thing? It's 10 because the absolute value of negative 2 is 2, and 2 plus 8 is 10. All right. Any questions about any of those?